Wagwan, my slimes, coming to you live from the white background that I have become very fond of. I think that one of my best angles, one of the best looks I can turn is to be in front of a white background talking into nothing but my headphones. I think this is the purest a Zealandism can be. I think that these Zealandisms that have production quality that is too high, better headphones, better microphone, I think they ruin it. And so, I might stay on I might stay on the run for longer. I might just stay on the run forever. We're just going to see. That's just what we're going to go for because, what's the point? But one big shout out to the random dude that ran into me in a park in Germany. Very sorry for startling you. I am in Germany right now on the run. But if you're part of the authorities, I'm in France. Vive la France! Vive la Révolution! That's where you can catch me. But if you're an avid viewer, of course, you'll know that I'm actually in Germany. But we know that the fuzz, they're not average viewers. Okay, so what happened? Why am I back in front of this white wall? Well, there was the lovely little thing called the Europa League. That is, I've liked the Conference League better the whole year, but I'm going to be honest. I think we've hit the point in the Europa League where I'm going to become a big fan. I'm going to become a big fan. You know why? There's one fucking team that's doing it for me, and it's Bodo Glimt, the team out of Norway. They've been threatening. They really got on my radar in a serious way when they smoked Jose Mourinho's Roma when they had to go up all the way into the Arctic Circle to try and play. But seriously, look at this graph. I present you with a graph. It's the first time we've ever based any conversation on this channel on numbers at all. But I present you with a graph, and this graph shows the stadium capacity, if you can't read, which is probably a lot of you. That's why I'm here. The stadium capacity of every team left in the Europa League. Ibrox at 50,817 is it's the smallest one outside of Bodo Glimt, whose stadium's capacity is under 9,000. It's not even over 9,000. It's 8,270. That's their stadium capacity. Of Old Trafford, you have Stadio Olimpico with Lazio, Tottenham, the Groupama Stadium, the Estadio San Mamés, and the Deutsche Bank Park. Shout out Eintracht Frankfurt. That's where Tottenham will be going in a 1-1 draw. But that's not who we're talking about right now. We're talking about Bodo Glimt. And this, I think, is the purest illustration. Stadium capacity is one of the purest illustrations of the overall infrastructure level of a club. Now, obviously, it's not the only indication, and I'm not going to pretend that Lazio has a better expectation to win a European trophy than Tottenham. I mean, Tottenham, outside of being Tottenham, right, has a lot more resources than Lazio, even if their stadium is smaller, right? Stadium capacity is not the only indicator. I'm not going to pretend that it is. But it is a really big indicator when there is this much of a difference. Bodo Glimt might feel like a familiar team because they've been around for a few years now as a competitive European program. They've pushed teams, they've beaten teams like that win over Mourinho. That's not their only one. They've won 6 of their 7 home matches in Europe this year, right? Like this is not a team that feels unfamiliar in terms of what they are doing. But what they are doing is fucking crazy. Okay, they beat Lazio 2-0, by the way. It should have been worse. Bodo Glimt should have won this match 4-0. Easy. Go watch the extended highlights. It's crazy. Lazio barely got forward. There are multiple points in this game where Bodo Glimt had the entire Lazio team within 20-25 yards of their goal. I remind you, Lazio was the first place team in the Europa League stage. First place. They finished above everyone in that Europa League stage. This is a Lazio team that has been unstoppable in Europe. Kind of like the Nazis in 1939. The Blitzkrieg. Fucking crazy, right? French defenses set up in defensive positions. Not Bodo Glimt. Bodo Glimt came out and attacked, right? They went out and, and if you don't understand why that metaphor was in this video, by the way, that wasn't as random as you think. That's all I'm going to say. But Bodo Glimt did not sit back like the French defenses in 1939. They fucking, onward and upward, forward. It's actually 1940. Nazis invaded Poland, 1939. And then there was the phony war period. And then Hitler invaded France in 1940. That's how that happened. You knew what I meant. You know that. You're an educated person. Point is, Bodo Glimt dominated this game. This was not a fluke. This wasn't Lazio got a lot of chances and Bodo Glimt found a couple of chances. Bodo Glimt's second goal is nasty. It's disgusting. Couple of step overs, shakes and bakes, lob pass, lob of the goalkeeper, nastiness, filth. Violated the Geneva Convention. Unbelievable. I mean, there's still snow on the side of the field in this damn place. We're in the middle of April. All right, it is cold up there. You got managers in parkas. It's still cold. And these guys, I don't know where they learned it. They've got the sauce. They have the sauce. They're looking like Busquets out there. They're always passing it the direction that the other team is not anticipating. They're creative, dangerous as hell. Really, really, really impressive team to watch. They've got the shakes, the bakes, the extra moves, the extra pass, the creative pass, and they open you up. This was not taking advantage of Lazio mistakes. This was opening them up with precision strikes, and they should have scored at least 4. I say at least. I mean that. This could have been, if the ball bouncing was going Bodo Glimt's way, this match was more likely to be 5-6-0 Bodo Glimt than it was for Lazio to win it. That's fucking crazy. Bodo Glimt, based off what I saw in this match, can win this entire tournament if they play that well. Obviously, home field advantage was a big part of this. They've got to go to Stadio Olimpico, which, of course, we've just looked at the stadium chart, right? Stadio Olimpico is going to be a difficult road trip. It's going to be loud. I know a Lazio fan, personally in real life, good friend of mine who's not part of the camp for the reason for the metaphor, obviously, but he is very excited, and I know Lazio fans are tremendous. This is, biggest moment for Lazio in a long time is being as good as they've been in the Europa League. In the same way that for Bodo Glimt, everybody in the north of Norway is feeling like they've died and gone to heaven, having a club that's able to compete and beat these types of clubs. But I am serious when I tell you Bodo Glimt can win this entire tournament if they play as well as they played in that match. Now, if they go to Lazio and melt away like the snow on the side of that field, then maybe not. Okay, but if they go to Lazio and play half as well as they played in this match, they're going to go through. And that is seriously saying something. And that spices up this Europa League a ton for me, because there's now a dark horse, a dangerous dark horse, that I think can beat anybody left in this tournament. Lyon, United, Rangers, Bilbao, Tottenham, Frankfurt. Bodo Glimt can beat all those teams. If you can boss Lazio the way that they just bossed Lazio. Then there's Lyon, Manchester United. Shout out to Andre Onana. I was on this train before a lot of you guys were. All right, maybe some of you guys were on this train from the very beginning. Andre Onana is not very good. He's never been very good. He is capable of amazing saves, but one of the most important parts of a goalkeeper is consistency. And this is something that at no point in his entire career, pre or post suspension, Andre Onana has been good at. He's not consistent. He's insane. He's actually nuts. Every once in a while, you come a player like Cantona comes to mind. They're just crazy, right? You're trying to manage the craziness and make it work. Onana's insane, and he can make unbelievable saves. But there's also this. Since the start of last season, no goalkeeper has made more errors leading goals for Premier League clubs in all competitions than Manchester United's Andre Onana. Not good. You want to keep your job as a starting goalkeeper in the Premier League? Don't be last in that stat. Don't make obvious mistakes that cause problems. And in this game against Lyon, both of the goals Lyon scored were savable for Andre Onana. They were. Manchester United did not play particularly well. They weren't, good per se. Lyon definitely could have done something in this match without Andre Onana being terrible. He was just bad anyways. And that allowed Lyon to scrap their way back into this. And of course, right at the end of the match, score the second goal. And Manchester United, I want to be clear, is still the favorite in this tie. But Lyon is going into this second match with a lot of confidence because they thought they were going to be going into the second match with a loss until you get a last-second goal. And they're aware of the fact that Manchester United did not severely outplay them. This was a match of moments, right? Where the Bodo Glimt match was a match of who's better, and it was clear. This was a match of moments. And in the second leg, I don't expect that that's going to change. Rasmus Højlund continues to be completely unable to score, right? That's a problem that's going to haunt Manchester United. And Lyon, especially, Rayan Cherki's coming out and talking about how he thinks they're better than Manchester United. They're going there to attack. Lyon's not lacking for confidence. They're poking the bear, right? They're saying, look, we think we can go in there and win in Old Trafford. And I am very excited because of the kind of brewing animosity and the storylines of Onana, who's obviously been talking shit with former Manchester United legends because Onana is insane, right? He's crazy. Fun to watch, really entertaining to talk about. Don't want him to be the goalkeeper of my team because he's so inconsistent. That's where I've always been on Onana. But this tie is going to be great. And thank goodness Lyon managed to get that second goal. So I really appreciate the fumble of the ball that allowed this to happen. The third match, Rangers against Bilbao. This match took a weird turn early. Early red card, correct call to give the red card. It was. But Rangers was basically in survival mode for 80 minutes. They did not threaten Bilbao a whole lot in this game, and Bilbao is the better team to start with. Rangers is competitive, and they have a huge home field advantage with Ibrox because not only is it a really tough place to play, it's freaking cold there, especially for teams like Athletic Bilbao. But Bilbao was better. Okay, they get the early red card, they get in control, but they didn't create a ton of obvious chances. They controlled the match, but they got one really obvious chance, and they scored. Except he was offside. But then when they reviewed the offside, they also found a penalty in the buildup. So they take the goal off. I've never really seen anything like this before. I'm sure it's happened once or twice. They literally go to review whether it's a penalty because they take the goal off the board and then they review whether it's a penalty and then they give the penalty. So it takes like 5 minutes to figure all this shit out. And then he steps up and the goalkeeper for Rangers saves the penalty. And the place goes berserk. It's one of the loudest crowd pops I've heard ever. Right, it's an absolutely insane moment for Rangers. And they've managed to gut it to 0-0. Bilbao's better. Right, and I think Bilbao at home, we're not sleeping on their home field advantage either. It's going to be going wild there. I think Athletic Bilbao is going to carry this, but Rangers could not lose at home. And for all the world, it looked like they were going to with that early red card. Fully deserved red card again. But very early. Right, stupid tackle. They could not lose at home, and they didn't. And that in itself is very impressive. So now they just need to squeeze the life out of Bilbao in the second leg and find a moment where they can grab it. They're good enough to find that moment. They don't need a miracle. They don't need to rely on a set piece. They just need a moment where they can, what's his name? Cherney. There's a couple of guys on Rangers that can really make something happen. They need to find one of those guys, let them have their moment, and hope they can keep the Williams brothers contained because they were certainly loose at Ibrox. And then there's the final match that happened. This was Tottenham Eintracht Frankfurt. I think it's really interesting. You have so many different matches, but the scorelines really don't tell the entire story. This is a great bounce back by Tottenham. They're at home. Frankfurt scores 5 minutes in. Place goes silent. Right? And I'm thinking, you're watching this, you're going, well, Frankfurt's going to run away with this. They're probably going to win by 2 goals. It's going to basically be over. Tottenham just toothless, not there. Right? Then they score a beautiful goal. 25 minutes in. Madison, I think it was Pedro Porro with like a back heel flick that's just sumptuous, gorgeous. And from the time they scored that goal, Tottenham was running Frankfurt off the field. I did not have that on my bingo card. It's just this every once in a while. Tottenham plays these matches under Ange Postecoglou where you go, wow, they look really good. Frankfurt's third in the Bundesliga. They've won a European trophy recently. This is a good, sound, composed, been here before type team that plays top competition all the time. And Tottenham was dogging them. I can't believe Tottenham didn't score again in this match. I actually don't know what the XG was. The XG does not tell the story. That 0.62 XG does not tell the story. Because, oh my goodness, did Tottenham get chances in this match. Oh, should they have won this match. The fact that they didn't, I have a feeling, is going to come back to haunt them in the second leg. But Tottenham was the better team in this match. And if you are a supporter of the hot Spurs, the piping hot Spurs, you got to be happy that at least you managed to outplay Eintracht Frankfurt in this particular instance. That's great news. Congratulations. You still didn't win, though, which is kind of the Tottenham story, I guess, for the entire thing. The other video is going to be the Conference League, so I'll see you in that one.